Okay, a woman, okay, we're learning about who's obligated to do the mitzvah. It's an obligation on the father. If the father doesn't do it, Bais Din has to do it. And then if the Bais Din doesn't do it, when the kid becomes bar mitzvah, it's his obligation to make sure he has a bris. But the only one that gets kares if the bris was never done is the son himself, not the father, not the Bais Din, but the father and the Bais Din still transgress positive commandments of not doing the bris on time. Now, a woman is not obligated to circumcise her son. There's no obligation on her. Nevertheless, she should try to make sure that the bris is on time. Let's say there's no husband around, whatever. I mean, she should try to make sure the bris is done on time. And if she makes a shliach for somebody to do... What?
Does he still get praise if he was 13 when he passed away?
No, first he died. I mean, he's not muchiv, he's a cotton. He's not muchiv in any mitzvahs. Yeah. After he's bar mitzvah, he has an obligation to make sure he gets circumcised. And if not, so then he's going to be getting kares, whatever. Okay, now, when is the proper time to do a bris? The proper time to do a bris is on the 8th day. Not before, not after, unless the baby's not 12. Now, what happens if somebody did a bris before the 8th day? They did a bris before the 8th day. So there's really three opinions. One opinion says you did the mitzvah of Milah. You b'diavad, you're yaitz the mitzvah. Other people say, no, you didn't do the mitzvah at all, and you have to do what's called hatafis dam bris, means you have to prick that area a little bit to make it bleed to do the mitzvah. And the third opinion says, you didn't get the mitzvah Milah, but you don't have to do hatafis dam. Bottom line of this argument in practical halacha is that if somebody did a bris Milah before the 8th day, so then the din is they have to do hatafis dam. You have to do a little bit of bloodletting on the 8th day or as soon as possible afterwards to do it. But on Shabbos, he can't do hatafis dam because the bris was done already. Okay. Now, what happens if they made a mistake? They thought the kid was born Tuesday. They thought it was before sundown, whatever. And it ended up to be Tuesday night. So if the kid was born Tuesday, the bris is supposed to be Tuesday. If the kid was born Tuesday night, the bris is supposed to be Wednesday. They made a mistake. They thought the bris is supposed to be Tuesday. And then by mistake, they did the bris, but really it's supposed to be Wednesday. But by mistake, they did the bris on Tuesday. So then people say, because it was a mistake of the miscalculation, you don't have to do hatafis dam bris. Huh?
What difference does it make if they made a mistake or they did it on purpose?
Because it's only when they did it intentionally.
7 days.
Besides the fact they write it's a svek, it's a doubtful, maybe it was Lepel supposed to be on the 7th, on Tuesday, whatever. They write svek plus many shitas hold you don't have to do hatafis dam bris. That's what they write.
Rabbi, what happens if they travel and they go, let's say, and then you have the dates, marriage?
You mean if a mother took a newborn baby over the date line?
Something like that. How does that work?
So the bris would have to be on probably the next day. In other words, let's say the kid was born Tuesday in LA, and then they flew to Australia, right? The bris would have to be Wednesday Australia time, because it's not 8 days yet. Tuesday in Australia is not 8 days from the day here.
It could be the baby was born on a plane or on a ship, and the ship is traveling.
And the plane, I doubt. And the ship, a lot of kids were born on ships, by the way. People that came over after the war, a lot of babies were born on the ship. Well, again, but still, now if it's only a few hour change, let's say a kid was born in LA and then on Tuesday and they flew to New York, which is only 3 hours ahead, then it's still considered the same day. Still, that means, I'll give you an example. What happens, let's say sundown is 6 o'clock, yeah? A kid was born in LA Tuesday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now in New York, it's really 8 o'clock already, which is night. But the kid was born in LA Tuesday day. Then they fly to New York. So the bris is going to be in New York. So do you do the bris Tuesday or do you do the bris Wednesday? Huh? He was born, so Lepearl, the bris is Tuesday. The same thing you have by way of yard site. Well, you go by where the person is. Let's say somebody passed away in Australia on the 10th. And here in America it's still the 9th. So the family that's in America heard about it on the 9th that he passed away, right? Nevertheless, he passed away on the 10th. I hear it's the 9th, there's nothing to do with the yahrzeit. The yahrzeit is on the 10th because that's where he passed away. That was when he died and at the place they were. So then the yahrzeit would be on the 10th, not on the 9th, for that same reason. Okay, next. What happens if you don't know if the kid was born like twilight or before Shkia, after Shkia? You don't know. So you go by the later date because that's definitely, early it might not be kosher even. So you do it, that's what we said, sometimes if a kid was born Friday, between sundown and nightfall, you can't do the bris Friday because maybe it's night. You can't do the bris Shabbos because maybe it's Friday and you can desecrate Shabbos for a bris that's not on the proper time, on the 8th day. So then you do it Sunday.
How about just doing it during twilight? Obviously not on Shabbat.
Because you have to do a bris during the day, and twilight is not during the day. What? Later time. Later time, yeah. No. Then we just said that. Then if it's Friday night, you push it off to Sunday. That means a kid, again, let's say Shkia is 5 o'clock, right? A kid was born Friday evening, 5:15, which is Bein HaShmoshes, right? Let's say sundown is 5 o'clock, let's say nightfall is 5:30. Kid is born 5:15. And we said when the head comes out, that's when the kid is born, right? So now you can't do the bris Friday, because maybe the kid was born on Shabbos. You can't do the bris on Shabbos, because maybe the kid was born on Friday. Then Shabbos would be the 9th day, a pushed off bris, and you can't do that on Shabbos. So then you'd have to do the bris Sunday. What? You push it off again. Yeah. A practical halacha, not in the... Yeah. Then you have another interesting shaila that goes on today. There's a big discussion about this in halacha. What happens if a non-religious kid was born Shabbos? The family is not religious. So the kid's born Shabbos, so technically you have to do the bris on Shabbos. Right? But because the family is not religious, there's going to be a lot of desecration of Shabbos. People are going to be driving. They're going to be taking pictures. They're going to take movies. There's going to be a lot of desecration of Shabbos. So now the question is it worthwhile pushing off the bris to Sunday? Why? Pushing it off to Sunday, you're only transgressing a positive mitzvah of not doing it on the proper day, right? But on the other hand, though, you're going to have a ton of desecration of Shabbos, which is much more severe. So more and more abundant, by the way, of paskening today, you push off the bris to Sunday. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of desecration of Shabbos.
So isn't it your chiyuv, meaning the parents?
The parents are not religious.
I understand, but they're doing the mitzvah, and as a result, something else is going to happen.
So many Rabbanim say, but the result is what's going to happen is much, much worse than pushing off the bris for a day.
They have to do that.
Huh?
On that.
So what? But they're going to be desecrating Shabbos also.
Now I understand why we had the Asian, my brother.
How would
Brit Milah, we couldn't find Mohalim to do them Shabbat. Now I understand why.
What?
how do you explain that to the parent? That's not religious.
You tell them because there's going to be desecration of Shabbos. I'm not saying everybody agrees with them. I'm saying more and more Rabbanim are coming out that the bris should be done Sunday because you tell them it's desecration of Shabbos. By the way, they would rather have it Sunday. Most people would love a bris Sunday.
I can imagine that like creating a conflict.
You're going to be Chal Shabbos either way. It's not like they're...
But not the bris. The bris is not causing chilul. The bris is causing chilul Shabbos.
The bris is the bris. They're causing Chil Shabbos by coming on their own.
The bris is directly causing chilul Shabbos. It's not indirect. It's not even indirectly causing.
You're going to have a
Is there?
Kiddush and shul, and then you're going to know a lot of non-Chum people are going to eat a Chabad house, and you're going to have a lot of
Then you're having a davening. You're having davening. People come. They come to davening.
Stop having a bris.
No, bris, you're inviting people to come to the bris, and especially you're telling them to come to the house on Shabbos for the bris.
You're not inviting anyone. You shouldn't invite for...
People and non-religious people, they're inviting them to the bris.
By that logic, let's say there's somebody has a piece of a restaurant for rent.
I know what a lot of the shluchim do, let's say. Hopefully they're religious at least. But their community is not that from yet. So, and they have a baby on Shabbos and they want to make a bris, but they don't want to invite their community because then everybody's going to be driving. So they make a small bris, maybe with a minion of people that live close by that they make sure they don't drive. And then Sunday they'll make a party. People anyway, what's they want the bris? They want the party, right? The free food.
Right.
So that's what they would do.
If the parents drive with the kid on Shabbos to the shul, with the baby, can the male still do the bris? Or did he say since he drives?
Can the male, the male can still do the bris. That part of Chilul Shabbos. But there's an interesting din, the Alter Rebbe brings it down in Hilchos Milah of Hilchos Shabbos, that what happens if a kid is born, okay, we're talking in cities without a native, okay? That's what the halacha is talking about. So now you have two options. Can a guy bring the baby to shul to do the bris in shul because it will be accommodating more people? So is a guy, there's no native. So if there's a native, it's not an issue. Even if you don't go by native, a guy can bring the kid. But the question is, can you have a guy bring the kid to the shul if there's no native to do the bris? So there's two opinions. Alter Rebbe brings down both opinions. Alter Rebbe says you shouldn't. Because you make the bris in the house. Alter Rebbe says, why do you have to carry it? These are the two opinions. One is says it's nicer in the shul, it's more room and whatever. Another opinion say, no, you can make it in the house. How you have a small crowd, but why do you have to desecrate Shabbos with having a guy carry the baby? So then people, there's a toss-up. Some do like this. Officially, the Alter Rebbe is machmi, it's better not to do it, he says. You make the bris at home and don't have a guy bring the baby to shul. But there's another interesting thing about carrying b'chlal. There's a Chai Adam that's mesupik. Normally, if somebody does a malacha on Shabbos, you're not allowed to benefit from the malacha. You're not allowed to benefit from the malacha if they did it on Shabbos. So there's a shaila in halacha, what happens by carrying? If somebody carries something to your house on Shabbos without a native, are you allowed to benefit? Can you? They bring you a bottle of wine, they bring you a cake, they're coming to your house, right? No native, and they're bringing it, but they're carrying. So are you allowed to use it? So there's one second. So there's a Chai Adam that wants to say that carrying is a little bit different because you're not really doing anything to the object. Normally you cook, you're changing the object. Carrying, in fact, the Gemara calls it malacha geruah. If it wouldn't say a pasuk clearly in Chumash, Moshe Rabbeinu told the Jews, don't bring anything to the Mishkan, we wouldn't learn out that you can't carry. Because carry is like, you're not doing anything. You're just bringing it from here to here, big deal. Over there, the Gemara says, there's a pasuk that says that you're not allowed to carry on Shabbos. But the question is, because you're not doing anything to the food, let's say, or to the object, are you allowed to benefit from it on Shabbos? So the Chayyim is the successor, Shulchan brings it down also. And it's interesting because he brings down, Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach says, if somebody carried matzah on Shabbos, you could use it. No way, he said you could use it. But the Kseiser Shulchan thinks it could be maybe because it's a mitzvah, so it's a different story. So he's not clear. The Kseiser Shulchan doesn't paskin if carrying changes the object, if you can carry or not. But in a case where a guy would carry a kid to the shul on Shabbos, for sure you can do the bris anyway, because many poskim hold you could do it. Bring a guy anyway.
So what's the answer? The item that they bring you, they carry it. You can use it?
You can use it.
What if they bring you flowers?
Can I accept it?
Don't eat them.
You can't put it into water on Shabbos. Tell them to put it down. You can put it into a vase. They're not muktzah. You can put it into a vase, but you can't put them into water.